This is Mindful Mondays with Iya Kemi, part of the Good Life program on healthy aging brought to you by UC Davis and the City of Oakland, bringing spiritual health classes directly to you all live. Before we get started, let's go over some helpful tips. You will see a small icon at the bottom of your screen that says chat. You will see a sidebar on the right hand side when you click the icon. At the bottom of the sidebar, you can actually type in any comments or questions that you might have during the session. This Zoom class will be recorded and broadcasted on Facebook and YouTube. So please take this time to change your Zoom name if you wish to be identified differently. This is a friendly reminder that by remaining in the Zoom meeting, you consent to allowing your image and photo, video, or film to be used for any legitimate purposes by the organizers, producers, sponsors, and the signees. Lastly, let's remember that this is Zoom. It is not perfect. Your sound or internet might cut out, but remember we are still here and you can always access us on Facebook Live. So if you experience any technical issues accessing our class, please give us a call at 510-255-0232 or email us at info@thegoodlifepath.org. And if you enjoyed today's conversation and wish to be a part of our live session, please support us by clicking on the link posted in the chat to get your free Zoom invitation and reminder to our next session. Because Mindful Mondays is open to all interested in creating a safe space to promote personal growth and advocate for spiritual and mental health awareness. We are committed to building a space for you to come together with others who are open to expand their consciousness. We are not trained therapists and cannot provide you with expert advice about your specific legal work or family situations. However, we can provide you with thoughtful opinions based on our personal experiences. This space is sacred and we expect our conversations to remain private. We ask that you speak respectfully towards one another and not tell group stories outside of our sacred space. We are not doctors and this is not a formal mental health guidance, but this is Mindful Mondays with Iya Kemi, brought to you by UC Davis and the City of Oakland, bringing spiritual health classes directly to you all live.
Happy Monday, all. This is Mindful Mondays with Iya Kemi. I'm so glad that you have joined us today. For those that are catching us on YouTube Live, as well as Facebook Live, I would like to thank you. If this is your first time, I'm going to invite you in a moment of mindfulness. I normally turn my video off so that you can focus on what is being either shown on video or what you are hearing. We are at the last day of June of 2025, and we are about to go into the second cycle of this year. So I really want you to focus on what you would like to manifest. What would you like to see happen for yourself? Complete projects, ideas, goals, things of that nature. Today we have an amazing topic with Dr. Boz Marino, who is a returning guest, who will be sharing about his new book that he talks about, veganism and vegetarianism, and how that may not be beneficial for you, even though that is a moving thing right now, especially in today's society that's being pushed. So again, I will turn my video off. I will share my screen so that you can look at an image that is one that they utilize. Let me make sure I'm sharing my sound. That is for this summer. We already had last week a summer solstice. I just want you to look at this image as the sound plays, but also focus on your intention for the next 6 months. You can choose a color to look at, a particular part of it, or you can close your eyes and visualize. I may, if I am led, share some affirmations to assist you in co-creating with you, because again, we are collectively consciousness and we are all in this space and time together. So I thank you for showing up for yourself today. If you'd like to take a couple of deep breaths in, we understand that the breath is something that is unseen, but it is essential to our life. So if you can take 4 seconds in, 4 seconds holding, and 4 seconds out, and then repeat, you may do so. I invite you to do so. And if you can go longer and increase your seconds, I invite you to do that as well. Just take a moment. You can put yourself in a comfortable space. If you're driving, again, I want to make you to make sure you're paying attention to the road. Focus on your gratitude for being present and making it through the first 6 months of 2025. you feel the need to rotate your neck, your head, rotate your shoulders, wiggle your fingers, whatever it may be, especially if you've been sitting at a desk for a long time. You are creating your own soundtrack for your life right now. What does that look like? How will your movie play out for 2025? If you feel your body get tense when you think about the future, just take a deep inhalation in. Bask in the gratitude, the good, positive things, how far you've come. The fact that you still have a roof over your head, clothes on your back, shoes on your feet, money that is in your pocket, money that's on the way, money that may be in your savings that you don't want to touch, but you still have it and others might not. Having gratitude for your relationships, your family, your loved ones, the vehicle that gets you around, which is your body, this vessel. I invite you to create an affirmation for yourself at this time. How do you affirm yourself? Take the time out and actually hug yourself. When's the last time you wrapped your arms around your body and squeezed your arms? Squeeze the energy that you have, embracing and wrapping your arms around the back of your shoulders. Thanking yourself. You've come this far. Now is the time to reawaken that part of yourself, to reclaim, to realign, to understand that your mind is powerful. This vessel is powerful. May the cares of yesterday, the cares of 6 months ago, the cares of 9 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, 7 years ago, 9 years ago, anything that you're still holding on from those time frames and maybe even beyond, it is now time to let it go. We don't want to release it because that means you're still holding on to that energy. You're still leasing it in your body. Do you still want it to have dominion over your future when that time has already passed and you are here now? I'm going to do 30 more seconds. Let's tap into your breath. Bringing you to a place of peace, place of gratitude, a place where you don't judge yourself or others. Take a deep inhalation in, holding it, and exhale through the mouth. Do 2 more rounds. Inhalation in, hold it, exhale through the mouth. On the last one, on your exhale, if you can make a ah, whatever sound comes out, or even if it's a silent scream, whatever it may be, let it go. I'm really excited about today's guest, and I again thank you and welcome all those that may be new to Mindful Mondays. We always bring different topics because mindfulness is, especially in this Eurocentric way, is always considered to be yoga and being still and all of these things when it really isn't that. It is mindfulness about what you put into your body, mindfulness of your perspective, mindfulness of others. We've had many, many different topics, and I am grateful that Dr. Boz has returned to share this book that he has. Lovingly created for those of us who need to hear this message. Dr. Boz, welcome. I'm going to make sure you are unmuted. You are unmuted. Welcome back.
Hey, thank you, Iya. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for asking.
Good.
You know,
Good.
just,
You lost some weight.
I did. I did. I have a few more pounds to go. I'm aiming for 15 just so I can be healthy. My lymphatic system is telling on me right now. So
15, that's a lot.
well, maybe 10. I'll say about maybe 10. But I feel it in my body to know that it's a thing that I have to definitely work on. So I am definitely looking forward to today's topic.
Okay.
I am, for those that are new to meeting you, because again, we always have some that have been rocking with me for the last 3 years. I think I'm starting 4 years now.
Okay.
And so just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're located, and what got you into writing this book, which I'm going to make sure that I put into the chat as well as show it so that you that are on live with us on Zoom are able to access his website to purchase this book that we're going to discuss today. Okay?
Okay. I appreciate it. Okay. Well, I'm Dr. Boz Moreno. I'm located in Mexico City. My focus is terrain reset, or what we consider to be alternative medicine or stem cells, regenerative medicine. I no longer focus so much on stem cells because the placenta offers much more than stem cells. So I'm still in the realm of regenerative medicine. It's just that now I'm doing things differently, and true, because placenta extracts are more economical and more beneficial. That's where my focus lies. So when I go back to terrain reset, I'm talking about the inner being and how to actually assist the person in improving or reversing an illness. So that's where I'm at now. So again, Dr. Boz Moreno, Mexico City. I've been here for 13 years, but this is a year that I think that I'll become more vocal. I'll start talking about things. As we discuss the book, of course, we'll be able to get into that as well.
Thank you so much for sharing. I just saw that you do have a fasting protocol, so I might have to connect with you in that regard. So,
Oh, yeah.
So this book is titled The Great Plant-Based Betrayal. I do know that you were a vegan when we first met, or vegetarian, and you weren't eating meat, and that has shifted since we first met. So could you tell us about your journey into the plant-based world, because it started before it became a trend. It's now a trend. It's very trendy, just as mindfulness is trendy. Could you give us a little bit of information on your journey in that realm and how you got to where you are now to write this book called The Plant-Based Betrayal?
Okay, well, 1979, Oxnard, California, Ventura County. My father and his wife, they introduced me and my siblings to veganism or vegetarianism. And as you said, it was not a trend at that time. I'll always think that my stepmother basically was punishing us. She didn't want us to eat meat, us coming from Florida. She just figured, hey, look, this is more economical. This is better. But for some reason, I just seemed to grasp it differently than my siblings. And then once I was in the military, I remember this one buff brother. He was a vegetarian. I just couldn't believe his size and that he was a vegetarian. So I stuck with it. And over the years, I maintained it. I learned a lot about raw foodism. While I was in the university studying natural medicine, I got to learn more about plant-based veganism, vegetarianism, raw foodism, things of that nature, things that I thought would be spiritual, things I thought would be better for me, things that made me pure, but they didn't. And I jokingly talk about it sometimes, because I've had dealings with persons that let me know, hey, you're not as clean as you think you are. So that's where it started for me. California is proving grounds for a lot of things, so I was subjected to it. 1979, 43 years I lasted as a vegan vegetarian, 43 years.
I muted so that you couldn't hear any background here, so my apologies. So my question now is, what shifted your return to blood, bone, and marrow, as you stated in your book?
Well, my return started in late April 2021 when I was initiated into the priesthood of Ifa. When one of the Babalawos divined and told me that I was sick, and then he had another Babalawo verify what he had seen, because I was thinking this has to be residue from some of my patients. There's no way they can know this. I know I'm not sick. I'm a guy that exercises all the time. I'm pretty healthy. I'm a vegan. So there's no way that I'm sick. And once they confirmed that I was really sick, I still didn't believe it. But once I got back to Mexico City, there was this one particular day where I'm sitting, and I remember standing up and my pants are stuck to my bottom. And I end up checking immediately to see what's going on. And as I pull down my pants and my underwear, there's blood and mucus.
Mm.
So from there, I had to be, checked. And I did some checking myself. I wanted to see what I could do, because I'm just that type of doctor. I want to, know what's going on. And I want to know how to have the conversation with other doctors if that's necessary. So once this happened, I started making preparations to make some changes in my life, because I realized I really was sick. I didn't want to think that veganism or vegetarianism had anything to do with where I was in this, at this point in life. But once I got a chance to experiment with bufo, frog venom, it detailed everything for me. It let me know that I had been using the plant, the vegetables, wrongly. And once I accepted that, there was like a week later that a Baba that you're familiar with, Baba Shangadari, he flew into Mexico City. And as soon as I walked into the apartment, he told me, hey, do you need another shirt? You need another towel? I said, nah, but he got me a towel. And once he did that, we went into rapé. He lit a candle. He told me what to expect. But once I went into the darkness, so much was revealed to me about how I had been eating, how I had been living, so much about spirituality and what people consider to be God. So those things were being revealed to me during that session, which I didn't expect any of this, and after that, I decided, okay, I have to do this. I really have to let go of the meat, and I have to learn how to use the plants. Ironically, when I think about growing up in Florida, I still recall a lot of the people talking about chicken scratch and roots and things of that nature. And a lot of people be familiar, those people that are familiar with hoodoo and things of that nature. And when I thought about it, I was like, wow, this makes sense. It's almost as if I lived a life that was basically preparing me for this moment. So when I talk about now in the book about blood, bone marrow, brawn, things of that nature, it makes sense to me now.
That's beautiful. So upon returning, what has been your experience returning to meat and returning to the ways of your ancestors or the ancestors?
Well, hey, one moment.
No problem.
All right. For you're going to hear a noise. One moment. Going to click. All right, cool. All right. In terms of my ancestors, initially, after being initiated, it was hard for me to accept or embrace Ifa, mainly because I was not prepared for religion, and it was being pushed to me as a religion opposed to as a sacred technology or a spiritual system. Had it been done so, it would have been easier for me to accept. So everything that come along with it, even the fact that I was sick, it was hard for me to accept. But once I accepted that, it made it a lot easier for me to embrace and hear what my ancestors had to offer me. I became less stubborn. I started to acknowledge what was there. And having said that, it's funny because it's easy for us to accept a so-called Jesus Christ in our life, which is somebody else's conception or ancestor, but yet it's frowned upon whenever we decide to accept what our ancestors have to offer. So for me, it was a lot easier once I said, okay, I'm going to accept. I started studying the faces of my various ancestors, to include my mother, you know. So that made it a lot easier for me to accept what my ancestors had to offer. And
Actually,
because I have mentioned E5, I will say this, that I no longer think that African spirituality can be veganized. And for that reason, as a priest, I know that, hey, there are some things that I may disagree with that I'll actually have to utilize if I want to have that ashe or that power that is necessary for what it is that I do.
appreciate you sharing that. For those that may not have any knowledge about Ifa, it is the science and wisdom of nature. A lot of people think that it's people worshiping things and gods and things of that nature, but it is really an acknowledgement to nature, those things in nature that sustain us and support us. So I appreciate you sharing that. So I wanted to ask, is veganism, because you made a mention of it, is it a spiritual modality?
Definitely not. But it is a moral diet. It is a moral diet. It is definitely not sacred technology. It lacks too much in terms of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals in order for it to be a spiritual system. Although it does have a lot of disciples, it is not a spiritual system.
Thank you for sharing that. So, in this plant-based diet, what does not support the gut, although it is being marketed as being such? You know, I remember kale used to be something that was just a decoration on buffets for brunch, and now it's become something that people eat as salads and things of that nature. Could you kind of speak to that?
Okay, let's start like this. In terms of what it lacks, I think that's the best way for us to deal with it, you know, because a lot of vegans and vegetarians would like to think that they only miss B12 when it comes to that particular diet. Now, I will start with this. As a vegetarian, I think a vegetarian can be far more healthier than a vegan or plant-based or raw foodist, simply because the vegetarian is likely to get cheese, milk, eggs, and some may even consider bone broth. So because of that, it makes them healthier than the would-be vegan or plant-based or raw foodist. But I should add that today there are too many processed foods that are included in that particular diet. So they're getting more chemicals than they are anything else. Okay. But in terms of vitamin B12 for the brain, or iron with heme that you could get from something such as lamb, you know, for oxygen delivery, or zinc for the immunity, or retinol, or what we call real vitamin A for the eyes or the skin. Chlorine, creatine, carnitine for cell energy. Then we have choline, which is a nutrient. It's not a vitamin or a mineral, but it's a nutrient. And it's for cognition and the liver, or I should say the brain instead of the cognition. And then we have DHA, EPA. So these are just some of the things that we're missing when we start considering that particular diet.
Thank you for sharing that. So, in these deficiencies, what happens due to these deficiencies? I know that you kind of spoke on India being one of the primary areas where they have this practice of plant-based, but there's so many things that they're dealing with that is not being discussed. And so, what is the outcome, or what happens? What is I don't want to use the term the cause and effect of these deficiencies?
Okay, as we overlook the necessity for bone broth or bone marrow or meat itself, we're basically subjecting ourselves to spiritual starvation, we're basically saying, hey, I can do without it. And because the body is so remarkable, of course, the body knows what to do. It knows how to leach the particular nutrients from the bones so that it can feed the body. So that's what's happening. So to give that up, you could experience hair thinning. As of now, I'm bald. I wasn't always bald, and as of late, this has become a very necessary conversation with certain persons, so I accept that I can deal with that I have lost my hair due to that. And I know that it's an adrenal issue as well. So there's something that I think that I can fix. It's something that I know that I can actually reverse. So I'm willing to make attempts and to teach others how to regrow their hair due to the damage that has been caused by veganism, even though some would like to think that they lost their hair eating meat. A lot of people that say they lost their hair eating meat didn't lose their hair eating meat or experience any of the other complications that they experienced while eating meat because they were likely omnivores. They weren't carnivores. As carnivores, the diet is a lot cleaner. It has eliminated a lot of the unnecessary foods that we eat as omnivores, the processed foods, a lot of the fruits, a lot of the vegetables, a lot of the seeds and nuts that we consider to be natural and to be unharmful. So, of course, I have to go with that and say that there are some things that can be done. I hope I answered that because I went in different directions.
You did, and that's a good answer. We have someone in the group that has said that they remember being mortified when their yearly EFI consultation advised them to abstain from solely veganism. We have Awoto Mipe, who has said, I want my hair back. Sign me up, brother. And I've noticed that Miss Gail has brought her camera. I'm not too sure if she wants to share, but I do want to ask, what suggestions do you have for those that may be vegetarian or vegan or have these deficiencies, even though they do eat meat? Like, what is it that can assist? Is it a lack of something? Because some people, I just came from a retreat and it was at a Buddhist type meditation center, but they had pork, turkey, chicken, and no fish. But the vegetable was just a salad. It wasn't really a plethora of things that it didn't have the balance, and so it made me think of how low key they were. They made their menu based off of BIPOC versus what they would normally do,
Okay.
and it kind of took us back. They had the barbecue chicken and they had the tacos, and because we were majority Hispanic and African American. So some of them who were vegan or vegetarian were kind of appalled and they were kind of taken back, like, I could have had more. So could you speak to what is a balanced diet? What is something that can sustain one and not have these deficiencies?
Okay, when we start talking about the diet, we can erase all of that. The thing that we need to focus on is bioavailability. When I speak of bioavailability is if I eat something, will my body be able to utilize it? So when we look at beef, and some people talk about bison, I don't like to use the example of bison or elk simply because it's not readily available and it's not as affordable as beef. So we can watch all the videos that we like about how cows are being slaughtered. I think the process here in Mexico is different than that of the United States, but still, when we look at the fact that an animal can take and actually convert those nutrients so that they're more accessible for humans to eat, that makes it a lot easier. But when you talk about a balanced diet, you're talking about really the food pyramid. And if you speak of that, you're speaking about the standard American diet, which we can see that most people are unhealthy, overweight. It's not working for them. We do not need a balanced diet. We need to make sure that we eat foods that are bioavailable, that offer bioavailable nutrients. So if I eat something, I know that I can eat it and get what I need to repair my body. So when we talk about vegetarianism and vegetarianism cannot no longer be considered a modality. And when I say modality, I mean a healing or a medical treatment because they cannot repair tissue. The diet cannot repair tissue. You can talk about broccoli, you can talk about any other vegetables that you consider to be superfoods. Broccoli, by the way, is hybrid, but still it offers a lots of choline, something I said that the vegetarian diet does not have. But broccoli also comes with high oxalates. So when we talk about what you can get from a fruit or a vegetable, we also have to mention the fact that there are anti-nutrients that are available that are blocking those things. So yeah, it's almost like having a room with 10 people in it. 7 of them are terrible people. The other 3 are good. It's likely that those 7 persons can convert those 3 persons, but those 3 persons are going to catch hell trying to convert those 7. For that reason, when we start talking about how good a vegetable is or that an orange has vitamin C, we still have to look at the carbohydrates. We still have to look at the fact that it has other anti-nutrients. We can't just say the good without mentioning the bad. So it's almost like taking that same orange, squeezing, getting all the juice, and you drink it all day and you think you're doing fine, but you overlook the fact that you've introduced several sugars to your body.
So, and laws being passed that they're putting the mRNA vaccination in the meat and in the produce. That law has been passed in America, if you were not aware. But it is something that I think about when it comes to the processed meat. Now they can even pass 3D printed meat or things of that, you know, within, yes, in the market. So we don't know if we're really eating it. So I do want to offer, for those that do eat meat, I am familiar with a butcher box. That is a access or somewhere where you can order your meat, or look at butcher locations in your area, or go to farmers markets, because you will probably get more of the fresh things that are coming from non-processed and GMO. As you said, that is a big thing. Could you kind of speak to that? Because I do want to allow room for questions. So if you have a question, you could put it in the chat, or you can raise your hand so that we know that we can allot the time to answer that question. So could you speak to this GMO, these genetically modified things? I know that your book is mainly plant-based, but you did mention the processed things and processed foods. Could you?
Yeah, the book does. The book addresses the the veganism aspect of things, but at the same time, I think I do mention. No, maybe I didn't mention anything about genetically modified, but regardless, if it is not natural, we should not be eating it. And just because the government says something is safe for us to consume does not make it safe. Because the government would tell, like you said, there's a law that's being passed in the United States, but for the last 3-4 years, they've been putting the mRNA in the different vegetables, in the different meat. So this is not something that's new, because a lot of us are so stubborn that we did not want to take the vaccines. So they had to think of a way that they could actually get the vaccines to us, which means that now, opposed to only vegans and vegetarians having to fast and having to do different detoxes, a lot of us will have to start doing that every 3 months, every 6 months. We'll have to start cleansing more. So it's something that we may not be able to get around. I often say to some of the people that I have conversations with, none of us are really safe. We all have work to do. So if we're sedentary, we need to start exercising. If we've been eating large plates of food, we need to learn to eat less. We should only be eating once or twice per day. We shouldn't be eating all the time. One of the good things I mentioned in a book about Elijah Muhammad and the mistake he made in terms of offering us or telling us that we should get away from the slave master's diet, but he gave us nothing to replace it. So because of that, I will say that let's go back to the meat. Let's use beef. When you think about what you need in your body, you can just eat meat, just some beef, about the size of your hand, the palm of your hand. You don't need a lot, but you just need some beef each day. In terms of protein, if people start talking about proteins, you only need like 50 grams of protein per day. But if you just ate meat and eggs, you would get sufficient nutrients to be healthy, to work, to lift weights, to play with your kids, to enjoy time with your spouse. You can still do that just eating those things once or twice per day. You do not need a lot of food in order to maintain yourself. But again, when we start talking about people that have problems and they say they were eating meat, they weren't carnivores. They were omnivores. They were eating the so-called balanced diet. They were eating the fruits, the vegetables, the grains, the proteins. They had to mix it all up. So what I do like about places like in Latin America, such as Mexico, is that a lot of times you receive your food in stages. So they may bring they may bring a soup to get you started, and then after that you will likely get a grain, and then after that you'll get your protein, and then after that you'll likely get a vegetable. It works something like that. Even though it should be the vegetable first, they start with the soup. So I do like that, and you're not able to eat as much. But at home you can do as you like. But in public, a lot of restaurants that are non-commercial or non-Americanized, that's how they actually work.
I would definitely say the food in Mexico is much fresher than the food in America. I can taste the difference, feel the difference. The energy of the people is different, and that too also plays a role for those that eat out often. You have to consider the energy of the person that is preparing your food, because that too does, to me, have an effect on what you are eating. And so I definitely appreciate this conversation. Just to acknowledge the time, it being about 20 minutes left, I wanted to see if anyone has a question or a share, anyone that may live the vegetarian or vegan life, and how did this sit with you? How did it make you feel? Do you have questions? Again, you can put it in the chat, or you can unmute or raise your hand. Did any thought come up about this process and this information that has been given to you? Miss Benton.
I had read this book that because I have ulcerative colitis, that I should go and become a vegan. So I did the vegan diet for about 6 months. I lost like 50 pounds. But he was saying you have to relax, don't do anything physical. And by doing that, I lost my muscle mass, So now I'm trying to, working out, trying to get that muscle mass back. I don't really eat beef or pork. Sometimes I'll eat fish or chicken, but that's basically my diet. I'll eat a spoon of peanut butter in the morning, protein, before I eat my fruit. My yoga teacher told me about that. And so that's basically my diet. Fresh fruit in the morning, watermelon, grapes, and blueberries. I make a fruit bowl. And then I'll have maybe some snacks during the day, and then I'll have dinner. But that's basically my diet right now. Almond milk, plant-based butter. I kept thinking, well, if you don't eat the cow, why would you eat the butter that come from the cow or the milk that come from the cow? So I just gradually, got off whatever come from the cow. I still eat cheese. Come to think about it, I did get some vegan plant-based cheese I thought was really good. It was kind of like a little triangular, a little round thing. But that's basically my diet. And, basically I feel pretty healthy. And I do drink fresh organic orange juice in the morning. And when I'm tired, it kind of gives me a little boost. But that's what I do.
Thank you for sharing, Ms. Benton. I don't know if Dr. Boswell, I'm pretty sure he can share something, but I think about this nut. We've had this conversation about the amount of nuts, almonds or cashews or things that people may ingest now, that because of, again, it being a thing. Could you speak to that in regards to this almond milk or almond butter and all of these things?
If she were my patient, I would recommend that she get rid of all the nuts, all the seed. You can't fight a war with lettuce and nuts. You're not against the war. You're like myself. You're not going to win. So because of that, she's experiencing sarcopenia, which is muscle loss. And this is to be expected. But due to her age, I could only see her gray hair. I couldn't see her face very well, so I have no idea how old she is. But I do assume that she's more than 60 years of age. I hope I have not offended her. Due to that fact,
I am 75.
Fantastic. You look
wonderful. About it.
Okay, no problem. So what I'll say to you now is that I would get rid of the nuts. I would get rid of the seeds. If I could do nothing more than stand up and sit down in my chair, I would do that. Stand, sit. I'm at my office, so it's going to be some noise because the door is the way they're made. But at any rate, I would stand, sit. I would do something of that nature. make sure that you maintain your flexibility. In terms of that diet, in the morning times, whenever you're eating fruit, that's fine. Do not mix the fruit. Decide what you will eat this morning, whether it be grapes or watermelon or cantaloupe or something like that. But don't mix the fruits. That's what I recommend with that. In terms of the chicken, yeah, the chicken is fine. Also, the fish is fine. Whatever meat you decide to eat other than pork, I would not recommend that anybody eats pork due to parasites. And that's the wonderful thing about fire and the other meats is the fact that we can ascertain that we've killed the parasites by using fire. So that's the magical, wonderful thing about the aspect of fire and about being human and about the human experience or what we consider to be the ori, because we have that ability to make decisions and to utilize fire, whereas other animals cannot exercise that aspect.
That's beautifully said. You know, I have had this conversation about mixing berries with watermelon. If you're going to eat melons, just eat melons. You don't want to mix your pineapple with a banana because the pineapple may be a little bit more acidic with that sweet banana that you're eating. So I really love that you have touched upon that because that is something that we weren't taught. You know, that wasn't shared with us. So I too love that. And then I also would add to eat the fruits based on the season because we have now, again, GMO. So you're having watermelons without seeds during the season when it's not the season for watermelons. So we have to understand we are a part of nature. So we should go with nature cycles. Just as the seasons change, I love that Dr. Baj, you said that we should be at least detoxing our body every 90 days, every 3 months, because again, the seasons change every 90 days. So what is it that we're doing differently? Also, let me see if I can ask you to unmute if it should pop up. We can hear you, Awo.
What's going on, Ibeji? How you doing, my brother?
What's up, bro?
Man, you looking beautiful, looking handsome over there, my fella, man. Look, it's good to see you.
Likewise, man. The gray looks good on you, man.
Thank you, sir. So look, man, I have 2 things. First thing, man, look, whenever you do that hair thing, sign me up. I'm dead serious. I'm trying to get that back. And I know you can do it. I know if anybody can do it, you got it. Now the second thing is for me, let me close this door because I'm in the doctor's office. All right, so the second thing I want to know is, okay, so like for myself, I got about maybe 10, 12 pounds I wanna lose. However, it's difficult for me to eat a certain type of diet because of, I work long hours. You know what I'm saying? I'm in trucks, I drive. So for me, I'm finding it difficult as far as what type of diet or food that I should be consuming to be able to lose this weight and then, shed these few pounds and then at the same time keep enough nutrients and keep enough energy to be able to stay up those long hours. And then, by me being in the truck for 10, 10, almost 12 hours a day, I'm not as mobile. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So
okay. All right, so no problem. I understand. So what we'll do is this. I can make a video that shows you some exercises that you'll be able to utilize whenever you stop or have a chance to take a break. You'll definitely need a resistance band or you'll need some dumbbells. In addition to that, whenever we start talking about bioavailability, we're talking about using beef in order to get the nutrients that we need. That way, like most vegetarians, they're constantly taking different supplements, taking different herbs. And that is one of the indications that their diet is wrecked and that is not working for them the way that it should. So for you, because you do have to drive, I would utilize more beef. Whenever I have a craving for sweets, I would eat more beef, more eggs. Even though you have to buy those things at various restaurants, even if you have to buy a sandwich and get rid of the bread and maybe the lettuce and tomato, or you could eat it, but you want to get rid of that bread, just eat the meat, eat the eggs. But I'll definitely make a video. I do have your email, or I at least have your WhatsApp. I'll send you a video showing you some exercises that you can use that assist you with getting rid of the weight. And because you're sedentary for so long throughout the day, I'll make sure that you know what to do for your lower back and for that gut.
For sure. I appreciate it. So now with that beef, um, I usually prepare my food before I don't try not to purchase anything like from fast food or any what I'm saying restaurants while I'm out. I usually prepare my food for the week, or what I'm saying that I'm gonna eat. So you're saying more beef? That's
Definitely. More beef. More
no
beef.
chicken.
You can eat chicken as
Chicken.
well. You can eat chicken as well. You're going to lose weight when you do this. Initially, you'll notice that your bowel movements may not be as forceful or regular because your body is going to be using the nutrients from the meat that you eat. Therefore, you'll have less waste material in your body. So
Okay.
once you do this, and you may eventually, after 2 weeks, start tasting metal in your mouth. After you get
Mhm.
past that, your body will start to change and you'll start to see that you're losing the weight and your body is starting to make other changes as well. And you'll have more
Okay.
energy.
Yeah, that's what I need. The energy. Yeah, for sure. For
And I,
sure. For
and I
sure.
and I love that you said to replace the sugars with the beef, because a
Yeah.
person that may be having a lot of sugar cravings, they may not realize that it may be because of lack of beef.
It may be due to, well, a lot of the cravings are coming from parasites. So, and basically your parasites are controlling you to the point where they're saying, hey, we need some more sugar, and you'll go and get sugar. It does not even matter what form it's in. You just want sugar. So that's a good thing about the beef. It'll help you to kill those cravings because you'll replace those cravings with nutrients.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no
Thank you
problem.
for that.
Appreciate the
Much
call.
appreciated.
Yeah. Mute me,
Miss,
yeah, because I'm about to go back in with the doctor.
I got you.
All right, do your thing, bro. I appreciate you, man. Good to see you.
All right, we have Miss Carolyn.
Yes, good morning.
Greetings.
So, Dr.
Mm.
Boz, last year when you were with us, I'm just looking at my notes, which
Okay.
most of them make sense to me today. However, I wrote to watch the sugars and then to eat the last meal by 7 p.m. and
Yeah.
don't drink either. Does that mean including water?
I would not drink the water either. Another thing, okay, about the water. A lot of times we're told to drink half of our body weight in ounces, whatever that number is, converted to ounces, and then drink it. There's still too much water. Also, while you're eating, do not drink. Yes, 7 o'clock is a good time. Between 6 and 7 should be your last meal. It should also be the last time that you drink. But if you have to drink something small, like 8 ounces of something, you can do so. But understand that if it has anything other than water, there's likely it's going to cause digestion to be activated, and you'll likely wake up or not sleep as well, or you'll wake up during the night and have to urinate. So that's why I recommend that the person's not drink or eat after 7 o'clock. Again, the food should be nutritious enough, and it should be moist enough that you do not have to drink while eating. So if you are having to drink while eating, there's a likelihood that you overcook your food.
Wow.
I love that you shared that. Hopefully he answered your question, Miss Carolyn.
He did. I just wanted to refresh myself on, I evidently talked to you about my gut health, which is still a challenge, much better, but still a challenge. And I wrote use monk fruit, which I did not do, just because I just forgot about it. But where do I get monk fruit? What is monk fruit?
Costco,
Monk
I
fruit?
believe, oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you got it.
I believe Costco has it, and I know, of course, you can get it on Amazon. I can't think of the brand that I use, but Kirkland Costco does sell monk fruit in bulk.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
Thank
and
you.
any Whole Foods type store should have it, because again, Sprouts, I don't know what stores you guys have in the Bay Area, but Sprouts, Whole Foods, you can check with those type of places that are whole food based type stores.
We have both of those, or all of
Okay.
those you mentioned. Thank you.
Oh, you're
Thank you.
welcome. Dr. Boz, I love that you touched on the water just briefly, because I know we have a few minutes left and I'm not too sure if anyone else may have a question, but I am going to share your website. You did mention something about water and this thing with, oh, Miss Tanya, I just didn't see you mute. My apologies.
Thank you. I want to know about the parasites, because when he said sugar, them old boogers. And it seems like when I eat, I'm not full. As soon as they say, oh, she's going to give us a good one. As soon as I put it down, I'm ready to eat again. And I find myself scratching a lot because I did a research and said that they release eggs under your skin. Is that true? Okay,
Okay.
because
Yeah, sure. They're releasing eggs, they're eating and they're moving. It's almost like when someone has cancer and that cancer metastasizes. How it metastasizes is due to parasites actually moving and defecating in different areas. That's how it metastasizes. It also can metastasize once the doctor does a biopsy, but normally it's going to metastasize due to parasite. There is no cancer without parasites.
really, because I feel the scratching and I'm scratching like I got fleas sometimes. And now I just ordered me some parasite capsules and I'm thinking about taking them because it's they getting on my nerves. And I'm getting too old to be scratching in public like something wrong with me.
Yeah,
So
you do have an
parasites
issue.
is take the
Okay.
capsule and do what I got to do then.
If you're basically utilizing what it is that you have or what you have access to without using my intelligence, what I would recommend is that you use something such as black walnut. And there are a lot of other herbs that you can research. But if you ever decide that you want to go to a different level, you can contact me and I'll give you my protocol. And I'll eventually make a protocol that's much more affordable that you could just read up on. I'll probably have it available in another 2 weeks. So that's
Okay.
another thing that you can check at my website for.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call.
Ishi, I think you unmuted. Not too sure if you wanted to share or ask a question.
Yes, I wanted to ask a question because I hike a lot and I drink a lot of water throughout the day. I eat 2 meals a day, my last meal before 5, but I crave water constantly. I also like to drink tea, but I realize now if I drink tea after 7 or after 6 or water, I have problems sleeping. I wake up all night to use the restroom.
Right. Okay. I do not recommend a tea. If you're drinking a tea, try to make your own teas. Make sure they're as natural as possible. Make sure that they're not in a box. That's the best thing that I could recommend in terms of the tea. Or you can just make your own simple teas using different herbs. In terms of, well, other than that, that's what I can say. Because if you're drinking and eating after 6 or 7, and make sure that you're not diabetic or pre-diabetic as well.
No, I'm
Another
not.
thing, you're not? Okay, and make sure that your foods have enough moisture, that they're not overcooked. And if you're eating meat, if it's chicken, yeah, you got to make sure that it's cooked well. But when it comes to beef, you should be able to eat your beef around
I don't eat
medium
meat.
rare.
I don't eat meat. I eat a lot of vegetables and fruits.
Yes, ma'am. So I hope that you're able to get my book. I think my book
I
would
will
be
get your
wonderful
book.
for you.
Definitely. I believe it might be able to help me.
I think it will help you. And after that, you can contact me. We can talk and I can see how I can help you further. But I think the book would be, I am here to sell my book. I'm here to sell my book simply because I have some people that I love that are vegans and vegetarians, and they've been misinformed. Due to that, I want to make sure that they understand what they need to do in order to correct the issue that they have. Being a vegan or a vegetarian does not make you clean. It does not make you pure. It will not make you more spiritual either. It will spiritually starve you, but nothing more than that. You will feel good about yourself, but you're very socially awkward. You're around people that do not like you, that pretend to like you because they want to get along with you. But hey, they don't really want to. And anytime you dismiss them, they're ready to let you go because you're so socially awkward. So for that reason, I say consider the book.
Awesome. I love that. I definitely want to say something that you brought up that keeps coming up. I thought about the thing when I was little and how the elders would say you can't drink and eat at the same time. You know, you have to eat your food and then you can have your beverage. I also think about when this water, it comes to water, again, the lack of minerals that water does not have. So you can always get the chlorophyll packages or add chlorophyll to your water for those that are water drinkers. You also want to consider what herb maybe, and I don't know if you want to speak to the chlorophyll aspect, Dr. Boz, but the herbs that you're drinking, teas or what have you, after a certain time, it may affect you. You may be drinking a tea that has caffeine and that may keep you up.
Yeah, that's true. In addition, in terms of chlorophyll, she's getting plenty of chlorophyll. That's how we've been tricked. Chlorophyll is part of the issue. So what we want to do is replace that with blood, with bone broth, with marrow. That's what we have to do.
Awesome. So I do want to share this screen. Again, the website is metmoacademy.com. This is the actual book. You can get the bundle. Yes, you can get the bundle, which comes with an audio book as well for those that may want to listen to the audio, but it also comes with the actual book, a digital ebook. So if you, again, are not on Zoom right now and you are catching the recording on Facebook or on YouTube, go to metmoacademy.com. That is metmoacademy.com. You would go to, let me make sure I go back just so I can guide some people, because some people may not be able to follow when they go to the website. So if you go to Metmo Academy, if you go to this upper right corner, my apologies, and you check on ebooks and programs, it has all of his books, all of his, as you can see here, here's the MP3, the audio only, and then you have the bundle here. So there's a lot of information that this beautiful individual can share with you. And then here is the book by itself if you do not want both the bundle and of the ebook and the audio. Again, I implore you to, as he said, he's here to be of service. He is here to share his wisdom because he is one who was vegan for 40 plus years. And so I do want to acknowledge those things that were said. Somebody asked, how much water is recommended with meat and eggs on average?
How much water? I would just say drink about, the person probably only needs about 4 to 5 glasses of water per day. You don't need 8 glasses. You don't have to drink gallons of water per day, as we've been told. Understand that you're removing, every time you urinate, you're removing nutrients from your body that your body could have used.
Okay, I love that. We also have Ijanla. Ijanla says she just started ordering Butcher Box and about to sign up for the subscription. The quality is top tier. One question, how bad are artificial sweeteners from 1 to 10?
From 1 to 10, 10 being the worst.
Thank you for sharing that.
If you want sugar, you'll be better off eating real sugar opposed to eating, I don't know, in America, there should be just raw sugar. If you have to eat sugar, use the raw sugar. If you can get monk fruit without all the chemicals, eat monk fruit. But that's it. But if it comes down to it, you'll be better off using the honey, maple syrup, sugar. But you have to make sure that you use small amounts. Once you start changing your diet, fixing what's wrong with your body, you will not like the sweetness as much as you think.
Actual facts. They had peach cobbler at the retreat and it was way too sweet to where I couldn't bear it. So I definitely, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not sorry, you're amazing.
All right, gracias. Thank you. Okay, all right. Hey, so what I'll say, another thing, while you're eating, do not drink simply because your body is starting digestion and assimilation. So if you start to drink, you slow down that process, and then you're going to start to experience the burping, the belching, the gas, and things of that nature. You do not want to drink while eating because you do not want to slow down the digestion. Drink before you eat, 30 minutes before or 30 minutes after. And then that way it's easier for your body to digest and to assimilate the food that you drink. I just want to make sure that I added that.
I appreciate you adding that. I appreciate your wisdom years because I do know that you are an avid student to your practice. And although a teacher, a great teacher is one who continues to learn. So I definitely want to acknowledge your character, the person that you are. I have a feeling that we're going to have to bring you back for a parasite cleanse to understand and have a better dialogue on that. So when you are complete with that protocol and that information, we can possibly bring you back before September, because with it becoming fall season, it will be a good time to prepare the body to detox
Okay, that's
during
cool.
that season. So I would love to invite you back, and thank you for accepting the offer. If
Yeah.
there aren't any other questions, again, you can reach out to Dr. Boz Moreno. If you're on IG, it is Boz_Moreno, or he has is Method Moreno still a active website as well? Or you prefer the one that? Okay, and methodmoreno.com. He is very, very open to answering questions and building with people. So do not hesitate reaching out to him. Miss Benton, I want to acknowledge you before we get off.
One more quick thing. What about organic agave? Can you use that like instead of the sugar? I think.
Yes, ma'am. You can use it, but make sure that the agave has not had high fructose corn syrup added to it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And in terms of this organic that you all have been sold on, it does not make it healthier. If I were to take a refractometer and measure something that is organic versus something that is not, you'll find that the thing that is not organic is much more healthier. So when you start looking at organic, you have limited nutrients that are available for that particular food or vegetable. That's why the apples or oranges or anything you buy is organic is ugly. So that's why I say don't mess with the organic stuff. But a lot of people are going to tell you that you have less pesticides. But what they will not tell you is that they actually watered those plants with fluoridated water. So what is the difference? Why buy something organic for more when you could actually get more nutrients from something that is non-organic?
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that. We are returning to the ancestors' ways, and I would definitely recommend to start your own garden. They have many, many videos on starting your own garden in your home, or if you don't have the capacity or a yard, look at what you can grow inside of your home or on your balcony if you have a balcony, because again, we should be controlling our lives, and we have the ability to do so. Again, I come from a lineage where they did earth ceremonies. They had their own gardens. So get to your local gardens, your local farmers markets, and connect with people who may be growing their own fruits and vegetables. And again, Butcher Box, or again, a butcher that is in your area, I definitely will implore that instead of these chain grocery stores, because again, there is an agenda to keep us at a particular weight, because if our body is lacking minerals, that means our mind is not cognitive to see the things that are happening right below our eyes. So thank you again for joining Mindful Mondays with our guest, Dr. Boz Moreno of the Method Moreno and metmoacademy.com. He does have classes that he does offer as well. So take a look at his website to see what resonates with you, to connect with him. Thank you all and have an amazing week, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you, Dr. Boz.
Thank you and your audience.
I appreciate you. Take care.